Hi, this is Steve. Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review. In this video, I start a brand new build, and that would be the Agora Models 1961 Jaguar. This is a super kit, highly detailed, and you'll love it. I love it already. Now, if you haven't done so already, head over to agoramodels.com and subscribe to this Jaguar right now. It's not going to be out there forever, and do it while you can. It's brand new. If you get it now, you can pretty much follow my builds as I go along too. Alright, so now let's look at the particulars of this kit, and I'll be right back. The Jaguar XKE, designed by aeronautics engineer Malcolm Sayer. The sleek, sculpted lines turns heads as much today as they did in front of the world's press in 1961. Our model of the roadster version provides the opportunity to enjoy every inch of its perfect lines inside and out. Let's be honest, who doesn't want to imagine themselves cruising through the countryside, wind and hair, feeling like Tony Curtis or Bridget Bardot? However, the XKE's appeal was as much for its driving as for its looks, with its brilliant XK engine capable of producing 265 bph and shooting the XKE to 150 miles per hour. You definitely look stylish driving one of these full-size roadsters, but building and owning your own 1/8 scale gives a new opportunity to enjoy the extreme level of detail. Some of the features that this model has are functioning headlamps and taillights. The windows go up and down by turning the handle. Engine sound when the accelerator pedal is pushed. Stop lights go on when the brake pedal is pushed. Steering wheel operates the front wheels. High quality finish red paint. Tan interior replica leather bucket seats. Optional rack sits on the trunk, and spoked wire wheels. The body and chassis is made of zamak metal, ABS components, rubber tires, and replica leather upholstery. The length is 22 inches, width 8 inches, height 5.5 inches. The number of parts are approximately 500. Now enjoy your model. So there you have it. I'm super excited to offer this to you. Now this video is going to have all 7 stages, and without further ado, let's get started. And here's what's inside pack 1. As I open it up, you can see we receive a nice little polishing cloth for the car. And we receive the poster, and I'll go ahead and fold this out and show it to you here. Of course, this commemorates the 60th anniversary of the Jaguar E-Type. I'm very fond of that because this date means a lot to me. You can see they give us the dimensions here. 21 centimeters wide and 55 centimeters or 22 inches long, 8 inches wide, or 15 centimeters or 6 inches tall. It's going to weigh approximately 15 pounds when it's done. And here's the QR code. And scan. But very nice here. And then the back side. Build instructions you can download also for this. And it's jam-packed full of parts. And we also received another screwdriver. So let me take these out and we'll get a closer look at each pack that's located inside of here. I'll be right back. There are 7 stages located within pack 1, and it looks like we're going to be building the engine here. So let me show you a close-up of each stage. Stage 1, I'll be assembling the cylinder head and cam covers. These are very nice there. Stage 2, I'll be assembling the carburetor. Stage 3, I'll continue to assemble the carburetor. This is part 2 of that. Stage 4, I'll assemble the engine block. Stage 5, I'll continue to assemble the engine block, and that's part 2 of that. Stage 6, I'll assemble the fan belt and electronics. And lastly, Stage 7, I'll assemble the exhausts and ignition. Welcome back. Here's the parts for stage 1, and as you can see, these are all very small, delicate parts here, and they are very well protected in this blister pack. Very detailed here too. I'm very impressed with that. I'll take these out and we'll get a closer look at them here in a little bit. Don't forget, you can head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this car today. It's brand new, and sign up for it while you can. Also, while you're there, you'll need to download the instructions, as with this subscription you don't receive any kind of a magazine, so it's all online, and it's very easy to download that to your phone or to your iPad or you know, to your computer. So let me get these parts out and I'll be right back. Here's a close-up of the parts. This is the cylinder head, the inlet cam covers, of course the cams here, the oil cap, steering wheel, and horn button. We also received the AG02 screws. There's 2 of them there. And of course Agora is very nice and gave us the screwdriver. It's the, I would say it's a PH00 screwdriver. It's a 2 by 2.5 millimeter screwdriver. It's very nice there. The only part that's metal, well, there's 2 of them, actually it's the cylinder head. That's metal, very detailed there. We actually get to see the inner workings of the cylinder head here. 6-cylinder, 3.8 liter XK Jaguar S-type engine. And of course the steering wheel itself is also made of metal, a very high gloss. It has the little grippies for your hands on that side. Very nice. The aluminum or the metal chrome looking part of the steering wheel, very well represented. It's very nice. I would say that the cams themselves are made of plastic, and they are very high gloss, dark gray color to them, and these are sweet. Those cams really look the part, and of course give you a close-up of the horn button here. Very nice. It does say the E-type on the horn button, and then of course the oil cap itself says Jaguar on it. That's very nice. Let's get started. Step 1 through 3, we actually install the oil cap onto the valve cover, or the cam cover as they call it, and it has a tab to line it up so it only goes on one way. This is an AG02 screw. And that went in very nicely. Next we put the camshafts into the cylinder head, and these will just simply press fit in. There's no screws to assemble here, and Make sure that when you do it that your larger flat end is towards the back end of the engine here where some of your accessory mounts are. And that could be the front end, I'm not sure yet, but we'll go ahead and put those in. And you just simply press down. You want to make sure they're pressed down all the way. Very tight fit. And there you have it there. And do the same on the other side. Once again, the large flat piece in the same direction as the other. And we'll insert it into the holes. Press it down. This plastic is made of ABS, so it's a little stronger, a little more forgiving than regular polystyrene plastic. But there you go. That looks very nice there. Impressive. Next, bring over the cam cover, and this is also going to be a press fit too. It's plastic to plastic. This is the cam cover without the oil cap. We're simply going to put that down on top. Makes it nice because you can actually pull it off anytime you want if you want to inspect the cams. So that looks good there. We'll do the same on the other side. Very impressive there. And that's how that all looks from underneath and from the top. I'll bring over the steering wheel next. And this is the last step, which is to install the horn button. And it only goes down one way. So you definitely want the E-type, which is the black portion. It's kind of all black on top there, and you want that to store towards the top of the steering wheel. And there you go. That looks nice. Wasn't a real tight squeeze on there, so you could add a drop of super glue to that if you like. And that completes stage 1. Stand by for stage 2. Welcome back, and here's the parts pack for stage 2. Remember to head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this build today. Also, while you're there, download the kit instructions for pack 1. Remember that this subscription does not come with the magazine, so you're going to have to download it, but it's very easy to do, and you can have it readily available on your computer, on your iPad, or on your phone. So let me take these parts out. This happens to be the carburetor, part 1, and we'll get a close look, and then we'll start the assembly. And here's a close-up of those parts. We received the manifold upper half, the throttle linkage, and the shaft, which is a very nice piece of metal there, and suction chambers as they call this, and AgO2 screws. We received 3 of those. Everything is plastic except for the shaft itself. We'll talk about that here in a second. Let's begin with step 1. We install the throttle linkage to the manifold and make sure that it is configured to where it's moving in this direction. So if you kind of follow with what I'm doing here, you'll be fine. We have we have 1 alignment pin and 2 screw holes, and it's simply going to go down on the manifold. Just like that. We're going to go ahead and put 1 screw into this to hold it together, and that is our AgO3 screw. Flip it over. Actually, it's 2 of them. And we're going into plastic here, so it should be pretty easy. Left it just a little loose there. Put the other side in. That looks good there. And flip this over. Next thing we do is we install the shaft here, and you'll note on the shaft it has a grooved edge, or what they call ridges on that edge. Don't put that side in first, put in the smooth side first into this. So you want to slide in through here, right there on top. Okay. And the reason why that grooved edge is actually going to help hold it in place. Actually, let's use some pliers on that a little bit, and it's going to hold it in place so it doesn't slide out on you. There we go. And there you have it. It's not going to move at all. It's locked in place. Okay. We will install these suction chambers in the next stage. So stay tuned for stage 3. And welcome back. Here's the parts for stage 3, and this is going to be part 2 of our carburetor build. And you can see here there's a lot going on inside here. So remember to head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this car today. Also, while you're there, you're going to need to download the instructions for this build. They are very easily downloaded and viewable on your computer, iPad, or phone. Remember that this subscription does not come with a magazine, but it's very nice to have it available electronic, and that way you can zoom in and get close-up views of the assembly instruction. Makes it very nice. So give me a second, I'll take these out and we'll start assembling this stage. And here's a close-up of those parts. We received the manifold lower half, the air cleaner. This is very nice and very detailed. The air balance pipe and the petrol feed pipe, along with AGO2 and AGO3. AGO2 screws were received 7 of those and 3 of the AGO3 screws. Now remember, you always receive a spare screw in each bag, so save those because you might need to use them later on. Everything is plastic here. Note that the fuel line here is very delicate, so we'll be very careful with that when we go to install that. But like I said, everything is plastic here. So let's get started. Step 1, we assemble the carburetor itself. So we need to take the part from stage 2, we'll flip that over, and we're going to mesh the 2 halves together, just like that. Goes together very nicely, and they want us to lock it together with 2 AGO3 screws. These AGO3 screws are a lot larger than the others, so just lock it down. I just can't believe how detailed this kit is. It's very nice. I feel very lucky that I'm getting to build another British automobile icon. I'd love to see an MGB come out, or even I'd like to see Agora come out with a Porsche. That'd be awesome too. So there we go on that. Now we're going to go ahead and put on those suction chambers. And there's 3 areas that they go into, right here, right here, and right here. And they only go in one way. And you need to flip it over to do that. Make sure that your carburetor shaft is on top, and you'll note that under the bottom of the suction chamber is a tab, so it only goes in one way, like I said. I'm going to put the middle one in first. And this will get an AGO2 screw. It seems like it's all fiddly and hard to do, but it's not. It's very easy. And you'll note I am using my own screwdriver for this because my hands are larger. I have a hard time with the smaller Agora screwdriver. So there's my Wera screwdriver. This is a PHO screwdriver versus the Agora screwdriver. So it's a little shorter, and it's fine. It's a beautiful screwdriver. It's also magnetized just like the Wera. But I'm going to put that aside. And you can obviously you can find this on my Amazon store. I have a link in the description below. I don't make any money in that store at all, so you know, if anything, it's just a link for you to access the tools and kits and parts for your own use. And these screws go in very easily. I put the last one in, but just looking at the detail here, it's fantastic. So far, most of the Agora kits I built have been very easy to build. So you don't want to over tighten these screws, so be very careful with that. They could strip out on you. But there you go, that's how that looks so far. Now we need to install the air balance pipe, and this has 3 points that it goes into on the carburetor, on the manifold itself. And you can see there's less of a gap in between these two, so it only goes down one way. So we need to flip this around. There we go. And you can see it lines up just like that, right on top of it. So we will be putting 3 screws into that. And I'll do the middle one first. Once again, these are AGO2 screws. Being careful I don't put too much pressure on the smaller components because you don't want to break them. That's how that looks there. It looks great. Very nice. And lastly, I put in this fuel line. And we need to use tweezers for this, although I probably can use my fingers also. There's 2 areas that this goes into. Let me zoom in and give you a closer look. So right there off the side are 2 points that this fuel line goes into, right there and right there. So it's going to be a press fit. Flip this over. And it's kind of a loose fit, so I think I'm going to go ahead and throw some super glue on those. And here's my super glue of choice. And I like to use the glue looper to apply it to where it needs to go. Just needs a little bit. And we'll line it up. Make sure it's pressed down all the way, which it is. And you can see that there. Looks great. Flip it over. That's how that looks from the bottom. And it looks like it goes in on the end here also. Throw a little bit of super glue on that also. There you go. That's there. Now I can go ahead and tap it with some super glue. And that locks everything in. I'll do the same on top on the other parts, just to make sure they're locked in. Alright. And the last step, we'll assemble the air cleaner. You need to turn this over, and that's going to go ahead and just fit right down on that. There's a couple of alignment pins for that, but I think it's a good idea to also throw a little bit of super glue on that, on those pins. Actually going to put them in the holes on the air cleaner. And they want us to put the, just like that from the outside, and press it down hard. It's snapped in place, and that looks good there. Looks great there. That completes stage 3. So the carburetor is completely assembled at this point. Stay tuned for stage 4. Welcome back. Here's the parts for stage 4. We'll be assembling the engine block. This is part 1 of that. And you can see very nice here. I'll take these out and we'll get a closer look here in a little bit. Remember to head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this car today. Also, while you're there, you'll need to download the kit instructions, as this subscription did not come with a magazine, but it's very handy to have the instructions available on your iPad, on your phone, or even on your computer. So let me take these out and I'll be right back. Here's a close-up of the parts. Here's the engine block and transmission. along with the distributor and the starter motor and AGO3 screws. We received 6 of those. Remember, you always receive a spare screw, so go ahead and save that screw. You might need it later on in case you lose some. Everything is plastic here. Looks very nice. Distributor. And the starter motor. Let's get started. Step 1, we install the starter motor, and that just goes down one way. You can kind of see how it has a flat edge there to go up against the block, and it's going to go inserted into there. It also has an alignment tab, so I like that. Most of the stuff has been that way with this build so far. Flip it over. We're going to put AGO3 screw into it. This is a larger screw. I'm going to actually use my larger screwdriver, which is a PH1 screwdriver. It just helps you drive the bigger screws into the plastic. There we go. That looks good there. Next, I install the distributor, and that's going to go on the front of the block here. Same thing, it has an alignment tab, only goes down one way, just like that. We're going to put an AGO3 screw into the back side of this also. There we go, just like that. That's how that looks. Now we bring over the carburetor assembly, and that's going to go right in the side of the block, just like that. We're going to need to put 3 AGO3 screws into this. So put 3 AGO3 screws into this. This is the right hand side of the block. There's one. Going very easy. 2. And the last one. Very easy to do. Looks great. Easy to put those in with the PH1 screwdriver by Wera. And that completes stage 4. Very nice, very detailed there. Stay tuned for stage 5. And this is what I've completed so far, all the way up through stage 4. We have the top end of the engine done, camshaft covers and intake. We also have the right side of the engine done with the carburetor fully assembled. Very nice there. The detail here is second to none. It's exquisite. And we have the steering wheel here. So let's go ahead and look at the parts for stage 5. Here's stage 5 parts, and we get to finish assembling the engine halves here. And very nice. I'll take this out. We'll get a closer look here in a little bit. Remember to head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this car today. Do it while you can. It may not be available forever. And while you're there, download the instructions for stage 1, or pack 1. So I'll be right back. And here's a close-up of those parts. We received the left-hand side of the engine block along with the battery box, and you can see it's going to take watch-type batteries inside of there. We also received the filter head and hose along with AGO3 screws. We received 3 of those. Remember, you always receive a spare screw. Everything is plastic here. Close-up of the engine block there, and on that. That looks good. and your filter assembly with hose. Here's your battery box, so it makes it very nice, very small, compact. Looks good. Everything looks very nice. Let's get started. Step 1, we install the battery box to the bottom of the engine block. Either turn this over. You can see we have a nice cutout here for it, so it looks like it's going to be hidden within the oil pan. And this simply just goes down on top. They say you got 2 alignment pins here, and we got to firmly press it down. Be careful with your wiring while you do this. AGO3 screw into this to hold it in. That looks good there. You can see this is where our battery goes into. We'll receive the batteries a little bit later. You want to probably wait a little while before you buy those, so that way they are all set to go. The batteries required, you'll need 3 LR44 batteries. Next, I need to bring over the other side of the engine block. And on the other side of the engine block, we need to install the filter head and hose. And same thing, it only goes in one way. It has an alignment tab. That goes down right here, right on top of that. And I will flip this over to put a screw in it. Make it so you can see it. Just like that. AGO3 once again. So I just discovered something, and it's probably important for you to know. It's no big deal because we always get spare screws. So this screw has a defect and you probably don't want to use it. Let me show you. So you can see this screw is not threaded all the way. So that one definitely don't want to use. I'm going to go ahead and throw that screw away. That completes stage 5, so stay tuned for stage 6. And here's stage 6 parts. This time we assemble the fan belts and a lot of other components on the front of the engine here, coil and such. So remember to head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this car today. Also, while you're there, download the instructions for Pack 1. Remember that this subscription does not come with the magazine, so it's all electronic here, and it makes it nice for you to view on your phone, computer, or your iPad. When we take these out, we'll get a closer look. Here's a close-up of those parts. Fan belt and pulley, the large pulley, the dynamo, ignition coil halves, engine breather, dynamo end cap, ignition lead, timing chain cover, AGO2, AGO3, and AGO5. AGO2 we received 4 screws. AGO3 we also received 4, and AGO5, which is the first time we're getting these, we received 2 of those. Let's get started. Step 1, we assemble the coil assembly. We're going to put this ignition coil lead, we're going to sandwich it in between this, and you can see there's a little locking lead there that goes inside this, and we'll put this together just like that. We'll lock that together with an AGO2 screw. There we go. Not too tight. There we go. Looks good. Bring over my intake manifold right there, and this is going to mount to that. There's an alignment pin on top, so it's simply just going to go down right here up against that. Fits in just very nicely, actually. Press it down, but we put our screw in from the bottom to hold it in place. And there you go. Just be careful you don't over tighten that. That looks good there. Next I install the oil breather, and that goes in here on right beside those two holes right there. You have an alignment pin. Just like that. AGO2 screw into that on the bottom side of once again. And that looks good there. Next I assemble the fan belt and pulley, and once again it only goes down one way. If you look, there's an alignment bracket, and it's going to be the larger pulley there, and then the smaller pulley over here. So we'll put it in just like they show on the instructions. Just like that. Turn it over. AGO3 screw goes in to the main pulley. And that looks good there. And we put our dynamo in, which I believe is same word as the generator, and it only goes in one way. It has an alignment pin just like that. AGO3 screw goes into that. And that looks good there, nice and tight. And we put our cover on. It also has an alignment pin, and that just press fits down. Perfect. So there's our generator, our dynamo as they call it. And we put our pulley on next. So we leave it upside down to install the pulley, and it's going to just go down, insert onto that, just like that. Once again, an AGO3 screw. And we also put in a AGO5 screw into this right here. There we go. That looks good there. That's that completed. So that completes stage 6. Stay tuned for stage 7. And that completes stage 6. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for all notifications. Head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this car today. Happy modeling, everybody, and take care. here's everything we completed up to stage 6. We have both sides of the engine halves along with the carburetor, very detailed there, very nice. We also completed the front end of the engine with the pulleys and such, the steering wheel, and the top of the engine with the intake manifold and valve covers. So let's get started on stage 7. Welcome back. Here's the final stage for pack 1, and this is stage 7. And if you haven't done so already, head over to Agora Models and subscribe to this car today. It's fantastic. While you're there, download the instructions for stage 1. They are there and readily available. You can view the instructions. They are PDF format on your laptop, your phone, or even on your iPad. And this stage we're going to be building, like I said, is the final stage. We're going to be building the plug leads and the manifolds. And I will take these out. We will get a closer look at these. I'll be right back. Here's a close-up of those parts. And these are our plug leads. They go into the distributor and obviously for the spark plugs themselves. And the rear exhaust manifold and the forward exhaust manifold, along with, this is a very tiny part here. It's called a rev counter generator connector, and then we received 8 AG03 screws. Remember, we always receive a spare screw. You want to save it in case you have a bad screw down the line or you lose one. 2 exhaust manifolds are plastic, and of course the plug leads is very pliable, rubbery material here, so very nice there. So let's get started. The rev counter generator connector is very tiny, and I like how they put it in separate bags so you don't lose it. I'll go ahead and take that out because we are going to install this. Step 1, we assemble the exhaust manifolds. Now you'll see we received 2 of them. We received a forward one and a back one. So the forward, they're actually going to be installed together just like that. And you'll notice that there's a large pin and a small pin to insert. So I'll do the forward one first. It just simply goes down just like that. And we use a larger AG03 screw for this. So I'm using my larger screwdriver, which is a Wera PH1. This gives me more bite. Looks good there. Put in the back one next. That is tight. Okay, looks good there. Screws are in. Kind of got the wiring tucked out of the way, but it's going to have to come out before we install the 2 engine halves together. Next thing they do, speaking of which, is we take the wiring and we run it to the back of the engine. And I'm going to run it underneath there to the bottom side, just like that. Won't hurt to put a little bit of tape to hold it in place. There we go. That way it'll be easy. We put it together and our wire is out of the way like it should be. Next, put our valve covers on and intake manifolds there, our camshaft covers, and simply goes down on top like that. AG03 screw into these. Should be very easy. So far all we've done is put screws into plastic, and of course we're going to have to change what we do when we put screws into metal, and I'll explain that later. So we'll put the second screw into this. Very good there. That's how that looks so far. Okay, so next we put our pulleys and timing cover on. Remember, we put that screw in. It really didn't go into anything. I thought it was kind of odd. And you'll note that there is a alignment tab there. That's going to line up with the front of the block, and it's going to go down in that direction. So let me show you. And remember, we put that screw in. It's just going to help hold it in place. And it kind of snaps in just like that. So you can kind of see that's how it needs to be configured, with your generator off to the side. And you can see how that lays in there, a little close up. Now, I could bring over the other engine half and lay that down right on top. And we have 3 points. We have put a screw in here, right there, and right there. AGO3 screw. I'm going to do the middle one first. Little tight squeeze with the screwdriver there. You can kind of see it's really close to the air cleaner. Just like that. One more in the back on the transmission. I'm used to the engine blocks being made of metal. This is plastic, so which is nice. It's going to make the car a little lighter. And last one here. Good. A little more to go here to assemble this. Next, I'm going to install the ignition leads and plug leads, and I'm going to be using a really good set of tweezers by Tamiya to do this. I'm also going to use some super glue to glue the leads in place. And I should just be able to put some super glue on that lead first. And I'll take my tweezers and put it down in there. And I'm going to hold it in place for a little bit until it dries. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these leads in, and I'll be right back and show you what I've done. And there's all the leads in place. I did have to super glue them all in place, but they look great. Now I need to put the leads into the distributor. So I did tape the leads down so they're kind of in a position where I can manage them a little bit easier, and kind of presses everything down in place out of the way. So that's just something you can try if you like, and it's actually going to come down along the right hand side of the engine all the way down to the coil. Okay. We're going to hook up the distributor wire first, and that's going to go in the middle of the distributor. I'm going to put a little super glue on that. Just on that coil there, coil wire, and take my tweezers, and it goes right in the middle. Just like that. You can see that. And then we'll put the distributor wires in just like that on the same. I'm going to go ahead and super glue all the holes and put the wires in, and I'll be right back. And there you have it. There's all the wires are installed on the distributor. I think it looks great. And the super glue would definitely hold everything in place, so you shouldn't have any problems there. And spark plug wires and such. And the last thing we have to do is install the rev counter generator connector to the exhaust cam cover, and that's going to go right there. You can see how tiny this is, so be very careful with your tweezers. I'm going to go ahead and super glue that. So I'm just going to put some super glue right where that rev counter goes. I'm going to hold it by 2 leads that are on top and put it down. And that is in. And I pressed it in a little more, and there you go. Looks better. And that completes stage 7 of pack 1. So that actually completes everything for pack 1. This is fantastic. Look at the detail on this engine. I'm very impressed with it. You know, it's fantastic. So anyway, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell for all notifications. I can't wait to receive pack 2 in the mail. I plan to give you the complete pack builds all in one, along with individual stage builds videos. The stage build videos will come a little later, so up first will be the complete pack 1 build for this. So, happy modeling everybody, and take care.